21:45:56. This is time of GNC.
At this point, the ATV is sitting a couple hundred meters away from the back end of the International Space Station. It is going to be docking with the Zvezda service module that is part of the Russian segment of the orbiting complex. You can see it there with its navigation lights blinking. The crew is watching along on board the orbiting complex as this cargo craft nears toward the International Space Station. Right now it's sitting at one of the hold points. There will be a series of these hold points as ATV draws in toward the final docking. Today's docking is scheduled for 5:33 Central Time. That is 6:33 p.m. Eastern Time. This ATV carries the name Eduardo Amaldi. It is named after the 20th century Italian physicist. This is the third automated transfer vehicle that has traveled up to the International Space Station. The first one was the Jules Verne back in March 2008. The second one was last year, the Johannes Kepler. That was back in February of 2011.
Using the narrow angle. You are go to switch to the wide angle. Copy and work. Selected wide. Copy.
Now that ATV is a couple hundred meters away from the Russian Zvezda service module, it is going to be using its automatic rendezvous and docking sensors and navigation aids. Those have been turned on and have been checked out and are in the process of feeding data to the vehicle. There's two main sensors. There's a videometer and what is called a telegoniometer. You will see animation of this here. There are two each of these videometers and telegoniometers. The way that they work, the videometer works in sort of the same way that the space shuttle's star trackers did, but it's a little bit different. There's several dozen sensors on the outside of the Russian Zvezda service module, and what this videometer does is basically take an image or a video image of the back end of the Russian segment, and it uses those sensors and those reflectors to process exactly how far away ATV currently is from its docking target, and also the position of the station itself. It takes an image anywhere between 1 to 10 images per second. Working in tandem is what we call the telegoniometer. This is a little bit different. This works more like a radar, which pulses about 10,000 times per second and gives not only range but rate of approach information to the vehicle as it closes in.
Proceed with monitoring arrival.
This is a view from the Russian segment looking at the ATV. Of course, we are in the orbital night right now. The sun will be coming up in about 15 minutes. Right now, the space station and ATV are over Africa. They are traveling up to the northeast. Today's docking should be taking place as both vehicles are high above the Pacific Ocean, which if you look very closely there on the map, it is on the far left-hand side as indicated there. The crew is on an adjusted time frame today. They're going to be obviously up and awake and watching over today's rendezvous and docking. European Space Agency astronaut Andrei Kuipers and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Kononenko, which you see there on the right, Kuipers there on the left, are going to be watching ATV as it nears in. There's not a window where they can get a direct view, but they're watching the view that you see here from cameras on board the Russian Zvezda segment. They will also be the ones tomorrow that will be opening up ATV, opening up the hatch, performing what's called a scrub of the atmosphere, and beginning the process of moving all the cargo outside over the next several weeks. It could take up to about 8 hours tomorrow for the atmosphere to be scrubbed and to be rendered ready for the crew to go in there. That is typical anytime a visiting vehicle goes up to the International Space Station. The reason that that is done is because obviously here on the ground you have dust and other things like that, that whenever it gets up into space, it actually starts floating because obviously there's no gravity. And of course they don't want the crew members breathing any of that in. So they will open up the hatch, they will take a sample of the atmosphere and make sure that it's okay for the crew to go in there and finish up all the ingress activities beginning tomorrow. As we mentioned, the ATV is currently sitting at one of its hold points. It's called the S3. You'll hear it referred to as that. There's another hold point, the S4 hold point, that ATV should arrive at around 5:08 p.m. Central Time, 6:08 p.m. Eastern Time, just a few minutes after the top of the hour.
Station Moscow, SG1 for ATV. Go ahead. Please continue reporting on the process of the approach. Please report the range rate, and the ATV system status. Range 1380.27 and closing. LEDs are all nominal. Copy.
Metros, no есть.
Range 40 meters, rate 007. Copy.
Так, у нас уже более четко появляется изображение.
Now we can see clearer picture of ATV.
Принято.
Copy.
В дальности 30 метров ожидаем смену режима.
Starting with 30 meters range, we are expecting the mode changing. Copy that.
Мишень очень яркая.
We can see the target is very bright.
Принято.
Copy.
This is Mission Control, Houston. We're just a short time away from the sun beginning to rise. You're beginning to see the first images of ATV. You get a sense of exactly how close it actually is to the International Space Station right now. This vehicle is absolutely huge. It is 35 feet long by 15 feet wide. You can actually fit a double-decker bus inside of it.
Okay, now the sun is too bright.
It navigates with 4 main engines and 28 smaller thrusters that are located all over the vehicle. There's 8 racks inside that actually carry up standardized equipment to the space station.
Now we can see the target very well again. Okay, copy.
ATV is going to remain docked to the station for roughly 6 months. The benefit of this is that the crew has plenty of time to unload all the different cargo pieces and all the equipment and supplies that are inside. They're not exactly pressed for time to do that. That's one of the benefits of it being up there. It can also be used to transfer propellant, as we mentioned, to the space station, and it can also fire its engines there as it is docked and raise the station's altitude and its orbit, which has to be done from time to time. The crew will begin the process of opening up ATV and going inside tomorrow after a series of checkouts of the environment. And they will spend a total of 44 hours unloading the cargo and then 41 hours loading things back inside, trash and other items that are not needed anymore. And all of that will be stuffed inside. The hatch will be closed coming up at the end of ATV's journey with the station. And then ATV will be sent into a destructive reentry at the end of its life.
Сменился режим GNC, final approach 1-2.
Okay, that's 22.06.20. They've been transitioning of mode to GNC. Okay, copy that. Continue monitoring. Range 27, rate 005. Copy.
25 метров, 005.
25 meters and the rate 005. Okay, copy.
It's a pretty good view there of the hatchway of the automated transfer vehicle. That is the part that will be mated with the Russian Zvezda service module. As we talked about at the top of our broadcast, it could take a few hours to verify that the atmosphere inside ATV is acceptable and ready for the crew to go inside. They will start that process tomorrow. And then Friday will be spent in earnest, actually beginning the process of starting all this cargo transfer and unloading this large cargo carrier.
Copy.
Так, наблюдаю.
I'm
Падение скорости.
observing the falling down of the rate, decreasing of the rate. Okay, copy.
Несколько метров, 003.
So 003 is the rate. Okay, copy.
На формате лэптопа устойчивое изменение скорости без скачков, как на формате C.
On the format of the laptop, we can see this steady decreasing of the rate. Okay. Please monitor the range.
19, скорость 0.
19 is the range and 0 is the rate. Okay, copy.
So the team here in Houston is verifying that ATV has reached the S4 hold point. As we mentioned, it will stay here for about 10 minutes. And the teams will check out all the systems to make sure that it's in the proper position. And then the go will be given for final approach and docking.
Station keeping 11 meters, so 18 meters.
As you can see, ATV continuing to close in. It has departed the S4 hold point. There is one more small hold point coming up in a couple of minutes. You will see it stop one more time for a final checkout. But everything's still on track for today's docking, which is on the clocks for 5:33 p.m. Central Time, 6:33 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, the LEDs are nominal, so 06 is the rate. Okay, copy. 006 is the rate. 14 meters. 008. Everything is nominal. Copy. LEDs are nominal. No, 006 is the rate. Copy.
The ATV is now within 15 meters of the Zvezda service module and continuing to close in fairly slowly. Of course, these views are very deceptive because both of these vehicles are currently traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, or Mach 25.
Метров, no monsieur.
11 meters, 007. Copy.
Так, состояние транспарантов штатно.
LEDs are nominal.
ATV идет устойчиво.
ATV is moving nominally. Okay. Copy.
Есть падение скорости.
The rate decrease. 0 is the rate. Copy.
70 метров, скорость ноль.
11 meters. Copy.
ATV has reached yet another hold point at about 11 meters away from the Russian segment. Here in Houston, Flight Director Jerry Jason's about to do his final go, no-go of the team here. That should clear the way for ATV's docking coming up in just a few minutes, according to the clocks here in Mission Control, about 8.5 minutes away from now.
We are at page 4.12, step 15. Okay, copy.
This is Mission Control Houston Flight Director Jerry Jason, who's sitting there in the center of the console, has just finished his go, no-go of the entire team here in Houston. Everybody is go, so they were reporting that to all the different control centers and international partners. Sitting beside him on the right is Dina Cantella. ATV is currently holding right at 10 to 11 meters away from the International Space Station. We're about 5 minutes away from the actual docking itself.
Экипаж МКС
Station Moscow.
по ATV.
On ATV. Go ahead.
Ожидаем
We are expecting
движения.
the initiation or beginning of the motion.
Принято.
Okay, copy.
Скорость. Да, есть набор разгона скорости.
Yes, we can see the
Вызвана команда
rate gain.
движения.
We have executed the command to initiate the movement.
Скорость
Okay, copy.
009.
009 is the
The
rate.
team is reporting, as you can see, that the ATV has departed the final hold point.
Everything is nominal.
Принято.
Copy.
These final few minutes of closure are extremely slow as these two vehicles
Принято.
basically stare each other down. ATV continues to close in on the Zvezda service module. Docking on the clocks for 5:33 p.m. Central Time. Of course, that could be plus or minus by a few seconds.
Метров 0,5, смещаемся на норму.
Принято.
7 meters. Okay. 005. Copy.
Состояние транспаранта штат.
LEDs are nominal.
Принято.
Copy.
Скорость по курсу меняется от 0,01 до 0,10.
So the rate is changing from 001 to 010. 6 meters. Copy.
ATV now at 6 meters and closing in on the International Space Station, both vehicles high above the Pacific Ocean.
Copy.
Ожидаем доклада 2 метров.
We're expecting the report 2 meters and 1.
5 meters.
Okay, copy.
нейтрального слушаем.
Принято.
Inaudible. Copy.
4 meters and closing.
метра.
3 meters. Copy. Copy.
Так, состояние транспаранта. Что?
LEDs are nominal.
Принято.
Copy.
2 метра. Перехожу на пунктирную.
Пунктирную линию перешли.
2 meters.
Принято.
2 meters, and we are transferring to dotted line. Okay, copy.
Принято.
Чоп.
Chop.
Приготовить секундомер.
Copy. Please prepare the
Секундомер готов.
timer. The timer is ready. Copy.
Скорость 006.
006 is the rate.
Принято.
Copy.
Скорость 006, 007.
006, 007 is the rate. Standing by.
Пущен дата. Секундомер 22, 31, 35.
Contact is confirmed at 5:31 p.m. Central Time. The Eduardo Amaldi has arrived at the International Space Station.
РДС ready.
RDS is 3 to
Once.
start.
Принято.
Copy.
The two vehicles were over the South Pacific Ocean, just to the north of the American Samoan Islands. Once again, docking and contact confirmed at 5:31 p.m. Central Time.
Could you please record the time?
Андрей, задиктуй.
Andrei, could you please dictate it?
22, 31, сколько там было?
So, 22, 31, 35. Did I say that? 31, 17.
31, 17.
31, 17. Copy.
Есть изменение длины штанги в окно
So,
событий.
the probe length is
The
changing.
team are confirming that the docking probe is retracting.
420, 415 millimeters.
Движение было мягкое,
Copy.
почувствовали даже.
So the contact was very soft. The capture was soft. We didn't even feel it. Okay, copy.
You can hear the crew there reporting that they didn't even feel the actual contact and docking of the vehicle itself, that it was very, very soft. They could not actually physically see it out one of the windows, but they were watching the video monitors that are tied into the cameras on the outside of the station that were keeping an eye on ATV as it closed in. But once again, 5:31 p.m. Central Time, 6:31 p.m. Eastern Time is our official docking time of the Eduardo Amaldi automated transfer vehicle.